Hey, so thank you to everyone for subscribing to my new channel. Uh, the Observer channel is just getting completely out of control, and there's many reasons why I need to move on. I originally started my YouTube channel to do creative, artistic things, and I did think it would be neat if people cared, you know. Um, it was my choice a couple years ago to start talking about old Nirvana stories, and everybody came out of the woodwork, and like I was saying, it would be nice if people cared and were interested about what you're doing, but all of a sudden it was like complete mayhem. And it's good in a sense. I made a lot of good friends, and there's a lot of I guess I'd say subscribers that have stuck around, and I read every comment that I can see. You know, I mean that's part of it. Is it's important for me, and a lot goes into this, that the memory of Kurt and the integrity of the memory of Kurt stay true. And I think anybody that really loves the band will think the same thing. The problem is, it's frustrating for me when I realize there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people that are now are interested in Kurt and maybe only know Smells Like Teen Spirit or a couple songs. You know, it's like, oh, have you ever heard of the Beatles? Oh yeah, I used to sing Yellow Submarine back in school, you know, or something. But they don't really know, you know, anything about the band. There's a lot of people, and they're being drawn to this through stories relating to Kurt's death. That's a fact, man. It's just like, you know, that's what I was saying. It's like this new entertainment mystery, and it's upsetting. There's nothing I can do to change this. You know, all I can do is share what I remember. I think starting this YouTube channel, the people that, you know, hopefully most of the people that come here get this, you know. Um, so I did actually this video already, and I accidentally deleted it. I was talking about the same stuff, but I did a part 2. So part 2, I think I'll upload it anyway because I was getting on some really good points. So it may be out of context from this one a little bit. Like I may repeat stuff or whatever. Anyway, right now I'm talking about why I moved on. Now, when talking about things, everything kind of loses context when there's so many comments, and then there's comments on the comments, and there's, you know, there's all of this, when I would like to be in the same room with everybody, hear everybody's voices, everybody's comments, you know, everybody's input in the moment, and it would make sense. But when I'm talking and then everybody's commenting, it's jumbled, you know. So the whole idea of how you can gain truth through emotion, through words, and all of that is gone, you know. And it doesn't mean that, you know, people aren't saying totally true things, you know. And I think that that, I mean, I text friends, you know, I mean, but basic little things. But when you're talking about something that's really, you're trying to get something across, I mean, you can't, writing a few sentences, the reader is just like, builds his own conclusion off of what they're reading, you know. I think that the simplicity of a basic YouTube is amazing. You know, I love it. um, it a friend of mine said, you know, I can see that, you know, you don't want it to become like, it seems like your identity or something, you know. It's like, and I want, and that's all part of this illusion, and it's part of this, like, it just has gotten out of control, you know. And I think that this is at least helping me having another channel. I don't even know how to explain it. You would think like, well, why? What's the difference? Yeah. I just feel like I've gotten a lot of, I get a lot of comments that are like misunderstood about this and that, or they're like, you know, and it's not an issue of trolls, and it's not an issue of like, just don't listen to them. It's an issue of like, I just feel like sometimes I'm not heard, and I'm not able to explain myself in the big platform with all of these people. Like, whenever I talk about anything Nirvana related, I get a lot of comments and a lot of response that I appreciate. But then again, it's also like, I mean, some of you may have seen, like, I get asked the same questions over and over and over again, and I'm just realizing, like, it is very important to me to help, just help, even if I do it in a small sense, keep the integrity of who Kurt was, and the band, and Nirvana, because they affected my life, like, fucking really, really greatly. I had somebody make this comment, and it just is on top of everything. He was nice, and, you know, he was like, well, yeah, it sounds like you really shouldn't be taking a role as, you know, being a spokesman for this case, and da 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 da. And then he goes like, even if you were just an acquaintance of Kurt, and you know, he's being nice, and he's saying what, you know, and I'm like, oh my god, you know, it's like, how do I come across, man? You know, so that's the thing. It's like, you get somebody that watches a couple of my videos and get completely the wrong, and they don't know the whole context. So a YouTube channel is, I mean, somebody can really make it their identity, and they can really make it, like, milk it. They can milk it, you know. I mean, you guys know, I could have milked it from the beginning every day for the last 2 years. Everything about Nirvana. I don't even know how many fucking subscribers I'd have, you know. And it's just like, no, but that's not the game, man. It's like, but people push that game, you know. I mean, I was watching, like, that guy Scott on Tape, and there's this other guy, he does these videos, Daniel Siskarian or something. He's done a little documentary on Nirvana. He interviews people, the new Kurt. He talks about the song. Scott on Tape does. And I was watching both of them, went to Kurt's apartment in Olympia, and neither of them knew that Kurt and Tracy lived in that back apartment around the right-hand side, the small one. It's not connected to the front apartments. And it wasn't until the end of 90, the very beginning of 91 is when Tracy moved out. I don't know the exact date. And then Dave moved up. And then they stayed there. And then they got kicked out. That was one thing that really just, it's an example of like, you know, mythology is nice and all. And you can believe all you want. You guys know what I mean. Anyway, you know, I just, I get frustrated. And, you know, surrounding Kurt's death, that's a really tough place to talk about. Because in regards to a story, something like the film Soaked in Bleach being a biopic, kind of, relating to any biopic, it's supposed to portray a portion of the truth, you know. You would think, like a biopic, oh, I want to know what this person was really like. Hold on. Okay, part 2, this is important because I'm relating to an example. I'm talking about Soaked in Bleach as a illusion theater story with truth. And that's the same with any biopic, for sure, okay? Now I'm trying to prove a point how I look at things. And it's a fact of pointing out a truth in it. Say that there's a phone call where, you know, any of the phone calls in there, you could listen to the phone call. You can listen to Courtney and Tom talking, right? And you can dictate that. And you have a truth. Now you can't say you know what that means. You can't say you know in what context exactly that is in. In fact, sometimes a context like, well, you know, it's unethical, but you know, I paid somebody to do it. She says, there's a little, she even says something before that, right? We don't know the context of that.